I'm, and I'm here with my beautiful, beautiful
Thank
guest, Miss Dawn Lee Hastings. Did I say it right?
kind of. It's Donna Lee Heising.
Dawn Lee Heising.
Yeah,
Sorry about that. Dawn
that's
Lee
okay.
Heising.
Yeah, we just met last week.
Introduce yourself, ma'am, Miss Heising.
Well, I'm Donna Lee Heising. I'm a working actress. I'm the vice president of my mentor and good friend, Aleong's Mustard Seed Media Group, and I'm the VP of Festivals and Promotions for Dante D'Anthony's Olas Hayes Movie Productions. And I'm a working actress if I didn't say that. Did I say that?
Yeah, you did, you did.
Okay.
Well, okay, I got a question for you, Miss Hazing. So, what is this movie that you got out today? What you got it for us today? I've been seeing this movie that you've been promoting. What is it called?
Okay, well, I have a few films out right now, but one that's very dear to my heart is a short horror comedy called Down and Out in Vampire Hills. And I played Penelope, the vampire queen. It's kind of a black comedy. It was written by Dr. Heather Joseph Witham, who used to be on the Mythbusters, and she's a vampire expert. So it's a really original script. And it was directed by my good friend, Craig Railsback. And Craig has directed a number of films for me, which we'll talk about, I hope. And the original score is by my best friend, Dr. Rena Wolsinger, and her husband, Keith Wolsinger. And everybody, all of us live in Huntington Beach, and we're friends. And we just got together and we decided to make a movie. And then Heather gave us this like great script. And normally with Craig, I had worked on, like I did a Lady Macbeth monologue called Dark Classics, which has won tons of awards because of Craig. But it was like one scene. We did it in one night. And then I did a Hamlet monologue for Tony Mardone's The Witches of the Sands. And it turned out so great that we put it out as a short film on its own. And so I do Hamlet's monologue in there, even though Hamlet's a man. And that's won tons of awards. So I expected when we got Heather's script to just be able to knock it out in one night. And it didn't turn out to be like that because the script is just very layered and it has a number of scenes. And so it's taken us maybe a year and a half to finish it, almost 2 years. But the result is just so worth it. It was a labor of love for everybody. Um, Craig has his own production. Well, first of all, let me tell you that Craig is Steve Railsback's nephew. And
Okay,
Steve
okay.
Railsback is a famous actor. He played Manson. And so Craig has a documentary coming out on the life of Richard Rush, who directed his uncle in a major movie. So Craig is very, very experienced and he's a great director. And he's a perfectionist, which is one of the reasons why this film took so long to come out, because Craig went through everything scene by scene and had people examine it, and then we reshot scenes. And so I haven't seen the finished film yet because I want to wait until we get into a major film festival and have our premiere there. But I know the film's going to be incredible. And I got a lot of my friends to work on it. It stars Ken May and LeJean Stewart, who's been, oh my gosh, that's my phone. Okay. Okay, I am trying to turn it off. Did that work? Okay. Oh my God.
My
Okay,
phone go off too.
everybody just ignore that. Okay. I'm gonna keep on talking. Okay. And you know what? Everybody who I know calls me on my cell phone anyway. I never answer this phone. I should just unplug it. Okay, but I don't know how to. Okay, so anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, okay. And so LeJohn Stewart has been my friend for ages, and he's like the lifeblood of the film. He is so funny. Um, and then it also stars Bill Housekeeper, who is with my agent Diana Carter. Um, and it stars Walter Hawk Bruckner, who's a director who directed me in a film called The Paradise Motel, which has won tons of awards, and his wife Vera Taylor. So, and Deborah Dutch, who is a scream queen. She's played my sister like 3 times now, and she's my good friend. And Debbie is gorgeous, and so this was a labor of love from everyone, and we're just all really proud of the film. But one thing that I have to announce is that our original score by Dr. Rena Wolsinger and Keith Wolsinger is a semifinalist for original score at the Vegas Movie Awards. And that's really exciting to us because it's also in, I want to word this right. It's also in the Grammy Award competition because Rena is a member of the Grammy Record Academy, Grammy Recording Academy. And so anyway, it's up for a Grammy Award, and we've gotten 2 rave reviews by 2 Grammy voters. So to me, that's incredible because this has never happened to me before in a film. No, and I mean, I knew that my friend Rena was a genius. I mean, I met her years ago when I took her Final Cut Pro class at Golden West College. She was my Final Cut Pro professor. Turns out she lives 2 streets over from me. So we filmed tons of things at her house. I mean, it's huge, and she's just a wonderful host, and she's a filmmaker herself. So
Awesome.
yeah, so and she's also an executive with an international virtual reality company. So
I have a question. I have a question. I don't know. I felt like I was a kid. I have a question, man.
yes, sir.
I have a question. Like, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I had to get the question out before I just go ballistic. I wanted to ask you. So during the shooting of the movie, right?
Mhm.
How was it? How did it feel to be like the star of the movie?
Well, it felt wonderful, of course, because that's what I've been working towards since I started in the business like 30 years ago. So
Right.
my first role was as a dancer in Blade Runner. So when I first started in the business, I was very, very young. And I had small parts in major productions because in those days, they only had the 3 networks and then they had major movies. And so having small parts in those major movies, you're still treated like a star. You have like catering and I mean, everything's taken care of. There's wardrobe. They do your makeup. They do your hair. I mean, even if you have a small part, you're treated like a star. So I left for about 10 years and I finished my bachelor's and my MBA at Pepperdine University. And this is my whole life story now, but but anyway, I started out in the film business, and then I went back and finished my education, and then I went into technology marketing, and I worked my way up from a product manager at Epson America, which is a division of Seiko, which is a huge international company. And so I was in charge of marketing for desktop and notebook computers. And they don't exist anymore, but they were the Action Tower and the Action Note. Um, and so I was in charge of everything for those computers. I would go to trade shows, and I did the website, or I contributed to the website for my products. I would go to product development meetings. And it was the best training ground in the world. And I never would have imagined myself being in the technology industry, but that's where I got hired. And so it was an incredible challenge. And I'm really proud of myself because I progressed from being a product manager to being a director of marketing for SAP companies. And then I went to work for Metamore Business Solutions. So then I took on Oracle and Bond. I don't even know if Bond's around anymore, but I worked on that type of technology. And then I went to a company that did RAID technology. And then I went to a company that did LED lighting and menu boards. And so every time I switched jobs, I had to learn all of these new technologies. And then
And
I
I've
ended
seen that
up,
resume. It's long.
it is, I mean, well, that I sent you my acting resume, not my business resume. That's even longer because they're indie companies
Ooh.
after Seiko. So every 3 years, it seems like I was looking for a job because they would all get swallowed up. So anyway, I ended up as the vice president of marketing for a point of sale um, software company called SpotSync. And
Awesome.
by that, and my husband Paul, um, he was the vice president of sales and marketing for the largest food company in the nation. And he had like 80 people under him. And so he was my mentor in marketing. He also taught marketing at Chapman University. So anytime I had a question, I could go to him. And I think that was the reason for my rapid rise in marketing. But the technology I had to learn myself. But anyway, um, he knew that I loved acting, so he told me that I could just go back to acting. Sorry, I have a hair in my face. So, anyway, I went back to acting a little over 10 years ago. And when I came back, everything had changed. I mean, anybody could make a film because you could make films with digital cameras. So, anybody could make a film, and anybody was making a film. So, and
So, question: How big? How which? If you can name the five biggest movies that you've been on, what would they be?
well, obviously, Blade Runner. And these are the biggest films I had tiny little parts in. If you blink in Blade Runner, you'll miss me. Um, I was I was in. Okay, well, I have my resume here, so I'm gonna look. I've done seriously. I've done so many films. Um, I was in Fantasy Island with Ricardo. This isn't a film, but this is a tale. I played Miss Hawaii in Fantasy Island with Ricardo Montalban and Hervé Villachez, and I did that for 2 years. I was one of the Hawaiian girls. Um, I played Cleo the Snake Dancer in the very last Magnum PI, and that was with Tom Selleck. And I've never seen the new one because I don't think anyone could match Tom Selleck. And I thought that was my big break. I played Cleo the snake dancer in it. And Hawaii Five-0 was filmed in Hawaii, so they couldn't work with snakes over there. So they hired me to dance with a snake. And so I danced with a snake for at least 15 minutes, and it was a python, and the trainer was just off screen. And I'm scared to death of snakes, but I really wanted to do this part. So I thought this was my big break. And when I saw the show,
I'm scared to snake my damn self. I ain't
oh,
doing it.
they had cut me down to a poster on this huge building. So I'm Cleo the snake dancer on this big building, and Magnum is sitting in front of it. So
Oh man.
that, Magnum is the old Magnum was one of my favorite programs. So I consider that huge. And then I think a pivotal film that I did was Gregory Hatanaka's Samurai Cop 2 Deadly Vengeance, because I had a small scene. I had like 3 lines, but it was with Tommy Wiseau, who's a legend. It was right before they came out with the film that won the Golden Globe. I forgot the name of the film. James Franco was in it. Anyway, you know that Tommy Wiseau is legendary for is it The Room? Something like that.
I think so.
Anyway, at the time, I was so lucky to get a role with him, but I didn't know who he was. And so I was supposed to teach him how to use a sword, a samurai sword. And I started doing it, and then he took me off screen and he showed me how to show him how to use the sword. And he was so nice. And I have to say, there's a reason why he's legendary, because he just, people who are famous, they just have, oh yeah, oh my gosh, hi Richard, my friend Richard Thrift is watching this. Thank you, Richard. And Richard went to see Tommy Wiseau. So if I forget anything else, please tell me. Okay, so anyway, he just, and I'm sure Richard will agree with me, he has this extra special something that makes you can't take your eyes away from him. I noticed that with him. I noticed that with my mentor, Aleong. He was the best actor I have ever met in my life. And I do his IMDb and his publicity. So I know. Oh, and I have to mention Aleong's epic Railroad to Hell, A Chinaman's Chance, has every star in Hollywood in it, and even some stars that died, because this was done many, many years ago. It has Coolio, who just died. It has Edward Albert, who died. It has oh my gosh, Danny Trejo, who's a star and who's still alive.
Thanks, bro.
Oh, hi, Louis. I was in a film with Louis. I was in Black Mamba by William Lee. Well, thank you for tuning in, my friends, because I didn't promote this show because we just met last week. But Railroad to Hell has Olivia Hussey, who was in Romeo and Juliet. It has Reggie Lee, and it has a huge star. I mean, if I could remember his name, you would know who he is. I mean, he was huge. And and maybe Richard, maybe you know, he died. He was big. Um, um, anyway, it has a million stars in it, and it just, I don't know if it's even released yet, but I have put it into major film festivals the last 2 years, and it's won about 40 awards so far, and I'm still submitting it.
Yeah. So,
So
hold on. How many awards have you won in your lifetime, in your life of being an actress?
being an actress, I've won almost 290 awards, and I only win awards for films that I'm the lead in or supporting in, or I'm a producer on. But
Yeah.
and I submit these films, so you can imagine how much I've spent over the years. But luckily, I've got a wonderful, wonderful husband who knows I'm a publicist, and who knows it helps my career. But I also was in over 100 pageants, and I won or placed in all of them just because I'm very, very obsessive, and I did it all through college. And you once you're in a couple of pageants, you get really good at it. You know how to answer the questions, you know how to walk, you know what to wear, so I mean, I did that while I was going through school. And then I went into acting. I had small parts, and then I was in business marketing, technology marketing. And then I came back, and I think that's where I started this. And so I worked my way up from small parts in films that you probably would never have heard of if you look at my IMDb. But the last few years, I've worked my way up to leads in quality films, and I'm really, really proud of that because I've worked hard. I study with Matthew Arkin at South Coast Rep. He's Ellen Arkin's son. And I also, people don't know this, but I have an A degree in theater arts from Fullerton College. And that's where I met Sal Romeo. And I was with his theater company for a few years, and it was in Los Angeles, and I was still going to school out here in Orange County. But I was in the same class as Dustin Wynn, who was in 21 Jump Street with Johnny Depp. So, I've been studying my whole life. We did the Stanislavski method with
Is that
Sal.
21 Jump Street with Channing Tatum, right?
No, that was the film. This was the series. This was like,
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was a series out.
yeah, you're probably too young to remember. But it was how Johnny Depp started out. He was the star of it.
Oh, okay,
I don't
okay.
even know if you can see it anymore. But Dustin Wynn was one of the stars of it. He was a black belt, and he was a great actor too. So, um,
So, what? So going from pageants and an actress, how was the transition in going from point A to point B?
well, pageants and acting, they're more the same. I mean, it's like you have to put yourself out there, and you have to be a different person. Like, my friends know I'm the least social person in the world. Like, I never socialize. I spend my whole day working because when you're a publicist or an actress, you have to learn scripts. You have to submit to festivals. You have to put the festivals onto IMDb. My husband is amazed because he leaves early in the morning. My husband is a certified financial planner now, and he's been listed in um, Los Angeles Magazine as a five-star wealth manager for the last 10 years. And he's very humble, and he would kill me if he knew I was saying this, but I'm very proud of him. And he doesn't follow me on Facebook, so he doesn't know. He, I don't force him to watch my films. He just supports me because he loves me. Okay.
True
But
love, I guess.
it was more of a transition to actually get my bachelor's in business management. And this is while I had 2 children. And then to get my MBA from Pepperdine University and then go into technology marketing, because that is major work. I had to start 4 marketing departments from the ground up. That includes doing all the advertising, that includes writing all the copy for the website, writing all the copy for the literature, going to events and selling the product. And mind you, I covered tons of products. So, I mean, I had to learn every single time. Then I also started 4 public relations departments. And in technology marketing, or in marketing generally, you have to sell your company like you sell yourself in acting. So, after doing that, that's why when I came back to this business, I knew how to write business plans. I was an executive, so I don't think people realize. Some people think I'm a scream queen and a swimsuit model and all of that stuff. No, I mean, I am a business professional, and that's the way I think, and that's why I don't socialize. I work. I never stop working. Um, and so anyway, I'm trained in publicity. And so if I take an interest in the film that I'm in, I will do everything I can to publicize it. And I do, and it takes all my time. But lately, I've been getting a lot of great films, so I'm spending more of my time just acting, which makes me happy.
Very happy.
And
So
I
I have
have
a
to
question.
say, oh, okay.
Go ahead. Say what
Well,
you're
I
gonna say.
have to say, I have a fantastic agent named Diana Carter who has gotten me tons of roles, great roles. And she wants me to be seen as a serious actress and not a scream queen, which I never was. I never was a scream queen. I've always been a serious actress in my own mind. And then I have a great manager named Joseph Williamson, and he's gotten me some amazing projects lately. And in this business, it's dog eat dog. I mean, it's like you can't really trust anyone. And luckily, I know that my agent and my manager have my back. And to me, that's
Mm.
the most important thing in this business, because the more successful you get, the more people want to see you fail. And I'm not going to let that happen. Okay.
Right. So I have a question on the marketing tip, and on that tip, on that dog eat dog tip. I'm gonna go back to that. But on the marketing tip, the way you describe marketing, you have to sell yourself like basically you have to sell your product like you're selling yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And see, I'm in the comic book industry. So
Oh,
yeah, I do comic books and stuff like that. So
okay. Well,
I
that's
design
great.
them and everything. Yeah, and I have my own shows. But the best host in all of the world, the Mr. Swagnificent of the In Your Face show. Thank y'all. Anyway, what I was trying to say is that yes, you have to be able to market yourself in a way where people see your confidence. If people can't see your confidence and people don't see that you're confident about what you're doing, they're going to not buy your product. They're going to look at the because people look at your product before they look at people look at your face, look at you before they look at your product. And
Mhm.
if you are saying, "Oh man, I don't like this shit," well, I don't want to do it. I don't feel like doing it. Yeah, it's not going to work. Then people are going to look at that and be like, then if you don't believe in it, why should I?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You have to sell yourself first because you are the face of your product.
Mm-hmm.
And your product is not going to sell unless you are the one pushing it.
Yes.
You know what
And
I'm
that's
saying?
the way
And
I feel about the films that I'm proud of. I will push them to the moon, because
right,
I
right,
worked really hard to get those films.
right.
I've done a
Right,
lot of films that I don't promote, but they gave me experience and confidence to move up.
right. And that's commemorable because you don't see a lot of people pushing as hard as you do in any industry. A lot you don't see too many people that are hungry for success. You see a lot of people, they are very complacent with what they
Yeah.
have, and I see that, and I'm like, man, it's so much meat on that bone. You just don't understand. You just gnawing on the goddamn the knuckles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, I just feel like people leave so much meat on the bone, and so much it's so much pie to be eaten. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And people don't understand that, you know, there's always another level to go up. There's always another level to go. And if you
And you should
accomplish one
root
goal,
for everyone else.
exactly, you could go to levels that not many people can go to. And because a lot of them are complacent, so they're going to be, sit right there where they at. But like I've always said to people, push yourself harder than anybody else is pushing themselves, because the more you push yourself, the more you fight through all the obstacles and overcoming all the odds, the more you'll be ready, the more you'll be battle tested and ready for the next level, and the
Yes.
more that next level will come naturally. And see, a lot of people don't understand that. They think, oh well, I'm just gonna stay complacent, and I'm just gonna sit back and just hate on everybody. That's your fault that you hate. That's your fault that you're not making it, because
But also, that's going to keep you down in negativity. Like,
exactly.
I was very, very lucky. I went to UC Berkeley for 2 years, and I took an acting class there, and I was assigned um, a book that I followed my entire life, and it was called The Principles of Winning. And there were like 9 principles, but it's like self motivation, all of that type of stuff.
Right.
But it showed us that if you stay positive and you contribute positive ions to the universe will give you back positive ions. If you contribute negative ions, that's where you're going to be stuck. And so I've always focused on being positive. Even if even if trolls are harassing me and stuff, I'll just block them and go on and be happy for the people who are happy for me, because those are the good people and those are the smart people and those are the people who are going to get ahead.
Right. And what I learned being a businessman, being in a similar business such as the comic book industry, the comic book industry and the acting business is so similar, because you're dealing with personalities. You're
Yes.
dealing with acting, you're dealing with drawing, you're dealing with scripts and everything. And that business is dog eat dog. And I know what you mean when you say that you get what you want before somebody else try to get it.
Well,
Because go ahead.
you know, I don't really, I don't follow other people, I mean, it's like I'm
Right.
happy for my friends. I share their successes in my group, Ion Entertainment. But this doesn't sound good, but I'm pretty focused on myself. So I'm
And that's
happy
good.
for other people who, who get great roles. Um,
Right.
but I'm not jealous or envious because I'm so focused on getting great roles for myself. And that's why I'm so blessed to have a tough agent like Diana. I mean, she was in the Army for 20 years, so she doesn't put up with crap. She just doesn't focus on negativity and just goes out there and creates opportunities for herself and for all of us. you know,
Right.
and to me,
Right.
that is the type of mentality that I agree with, you know, that the type of mentality I want to have, because, well, actually, you know, that this whole conversation kind of leads me into my family. It's a different subject, but I would like to say that my grandparents came over from Japan, and my grandfather built a little farmhouse and had a carnation farm and had 7 children. And then he lost his land during World War II because, you know, because of the relocation camps. But he went back and he started another carnation farm. And by the end of his life, he was very, very wealthy, but he still lived as a poor farmer. My mom was raised really, really poor, but out of that family, my mom was a charge nurse. My uncle Tack was the director of photography on Silence of the Lambs, Philadelphia, and Sixth Sense. I mean, he's a legendary DP. He's in textbooks. And then my uncle Jack, who died in December, he was a leader in the Japanese community. He was the first Western dean of a college on the in the Western. He was the first dean of a college on the Western United States when he became the dean of Sacramento City College. And so they're having, I have it here. So they're having a ceremony on October 23rd, because he was the leader of the Los Angeles Japanese community, and they're naming a section of Sawtell Boulevard as Dr. Jack Fujimoto Square. So it's on October 23rd, and my husband and I are going to attend. My whole family's going to attend. My mom's going to attend. My daughters are going to attend. But that's just one side of my family. And then, you know, I'm just going to go into my father, then you can ask questions. My father came over from China when he was 10 years old by himself. And he didn't have anyone to look after him. So he told me he just held some lady's hand on the ship. And then he lived in the back of a laundry until he was 15, and he joined the Air Force. My dad was a genius, and the Air Force taught him everything he knew. He got into Stanford and USC because of his Air Force training. And he was an engineer after that, and he won 11 patents in his lifetime. He died 10 years ago, but he went back and he got his master's degree in teaching when he was 70. And
Awesome.
he ended his life teaching chemistry at a high school, in the inner city. And so giving back to the community. But out of that family, my cousin David Wong and his partner George Doherty are Emmy winners for Peter and the Wolf on Broadway. They're primetime Emmy winners for that. And then they were nominated for a bunch of Emmys for a show called Rhythm and Jazz, I think. Something like that. But they discovered Brandy. And so now they're traveling the world with their show Bugs Bunny on Broadway. And so I'm really proud of both sides of my family. But I also I already told you about my husband, who's incredible and he's the best husband in the world. But my older daughter was a pharmaceutical rep for Sanofi Aventis, She was their top salesperson, and she won a trip to Paris with her husband for being the top salesperson. My younger daughter was a Fulbright scholar for a year in Japan, and she's now a doctor. She's a psychiatrist at UCLA. And so I think you can kind of see that my whole family is just very driven. Um,
Mm.
we're obsessive without the compulsive. That you know. So we just, and my husband is the biggest workaholic you've ever met. I mean, the only time he takes off is Sunday, and even then, he's still working. So he works a lot harder than I do. And he teaches in his spare time, which he doesn't have any. He teaches at UCLA, um, and he teaches at Chapman University. He teaches food marketing because he worked for Hunt Wesson for the marketing science students, and then he teaches retirement planning at UCLA. So if you need a class in retirement planning, my husband is the best teacher in the world.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay, so anyway, that's my family. Sorry to take up so much time.
It is okay. It's all right. I'm a patient person, so I have to, what I'm saying, I'm a patient person, so I get it. I understand. So when it comes to, being an actress, are there things that you want to do in a as an actress in the business that you have yet to do, and what are they?
Well, I feel like in the last year I've accomplished a lot of my goals. Um, I was one of the leads in a family-friendly film called The Rose Wagon, and
Hmm.
it's not even finished yet, but I played I played the villain in the film. I played a mother and a grandmother in it, and I start out the film as the audience will think she's evil, but I hope that the audience learns to like my character by the end. And that's something I always wanted to do, was to play a lead in a family-friendly film that my kids could watch, my grandkids could watch, that my mother would want to watch. My mother has watched a lot of my films. I mean, my mom's very supportive, but I don't force my husband to watch anything because he falls asleep during A-list films. I mean, the only film that he stayed up for recently is Top Gun Maverick, which how could he
Uh-huh.
fall asleep during? We were in a theater anyway, so he couldn't fall asleep.
Right,
But
right, right,
you
right,
know,
right.
I don't force him to watch any of my films, but that was one of my goals. My goals is to do leads in quality films. And that's why I'm actively pursuing those kind of films. And I think, oh, Robert, oh, thank you for tuning in. Well, Robert is like a 5-time kickboxing champion, I think. And he's a producer and a director and a filmmaker, and I'm dying to
He's
work
my
with.
guy, my guy, my guy.
Oh, you know him?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh! Well,
He was on the show.
I need to know more about your. I have no idea. You know what? You just contacted me on Facebook. I had no idea you were in the comic book industry. I mean,
Well, yeah.
that's big time. I want to be in one of your comic books.
I got you. I got you. What you know what I would do? When we do the movie, when we do the series, I would like to. I want to actually start to talk to a lot of the actors that I uh, that I interviewed. You know, I would like to because the first book is called Jarhead. You know what I mean? And
Oh, okay.
It's called Jarhead. My father was a Marine, and all of my uncles and family was a Marine, and so they I got the stories from them, and I love the military. So it's
I
you
did.
know yeah, and it's crazy. I learned, I'm a Christian man, so my spiritual side is tied into that to story. It's tied to the Jarhead story. So I added more of my spiritual side into it too as well. So when you read the book, you're going to be you're going to be blown away. Oh, hopefully, hey, you may can help me market it soon. I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, obviously I will. I just told you I spend my whole day either acting or doing publicity or babysitting. But well, actually, that reminds me. I'm also the producer on a major film. I mean, we haven't done it yet. Yes, I want to, Robert. But we haven't filmed this yet. But it's a film from my agent, and it's called The Magnificent Raiders of Dimension War One, and it stars Daniel Baldwin, Robert Lasardo, Tom Sizemore, Gigi Edgley, Bai Ling. I play a character, and Bishop Stevens. It's got a million stars in it, and it's animated, and we're filming it next year, but it's going to have an astronomical budget. But I started out taking a short film for Dante, and it's called The Derelict. And that short film was neglected. I mean, it came out in 2015, but so far it's won like about 40 awards. And
Awesome,
it
man.
amazed Dante because he had just forgotten about it. And so I've taken the Magnificent Raiders trailer, and I don't know exactly how many awards it's won so far because I just started, but I think it's won about 20 awards. And
Awesome.
that's animated, so you might be interested in it. And actually,
But
this, sorry, but this this is the book that it's based on. It's called The
awesome,
Pandoran Wars, and Dante
awesome.
wrote this book, and The Magnificent Raiders is based on that book.
I would like to have him on the show. Let him know I want to have him on the show.
Oh, I love it. I definitely will. I just, I've been friends with him for 2 years, but I just met him in person when I went back to the recipes for Love premiere. And that's another thing that my agent got me. It's a comedy miniseries, and it's so funny. We're having a Los Angeles premiere in October, and I'm going to that too.
Awesome, awesome, very awesome. Yeah, I actually, the day that I met you, right? I saw you on who's I saw you because I was looking at the thing. I seen you in my suggestions box, and I was like, okay, she knows Robert Samuels,
Oh,
Robert and Parham. So I was like, okay, let me friend her, see what it's about. So I said, okay, let's have her on the show. Because I like to interview people that are, that want to get their names out, that want to actually make a difference.
mm-hmm.
That is not just about helping themselves; it's about helping others and
Yes.
building a platform for others. Because, like I said, it's not about trying to step on people to get where you want to be. It's
No.
about bringing everyone up as well as yourself. And that's what I want to do. I want to build a platform that people can come to and let their hair down and just have fun and just smile, and that's what I want to do. Everybody I've had on the show have told me they love the show, they want to see it flourish, and like I said, I invite I will interview anybody as long as they're driven, as long as they're ready to rock as soon as they get on the show. I'm
Well, I will tell you that Diana, being an Army veteran for 20 years, most of the people that she represents are veterans and they're all driven like me. So they're going to want to be on your show. Joe Williamson just got me into an incredible film or television series called Dick Reno Monster Slayer. And it's by Jimmy Drain, who's a client of Joe. And it's starring Richard Tyson and Eric Roberts. And I'm really excited to have scenes with Eric Roberts because that's one
awesome.
of my goals is to work with stars, to have
Hmm.
leads with stars. And I started out in I started out on the network and I started
Hmm.
out in major films, even though they were small roles. That's where I want to get back to. I don't care if it's a small role on a streaming platform or if it's on network TV. You know, I've I still have a lot to do in indie films because I want to do leads now with stars. So I still do have a lot of ground to cover. But I if you don't make goals, then you can't reach those goals.
Right. And I have an idea, right? I have an idea for a 100th episode of the In Your Face show. It's going to be a roundtable discussion, and everybody that's been on the show will be able to come on the show and share their ideas, share their new movies that's coming out, share their stories, share everything. You'll have artists, you have rappers, you have singers, you have all those people, everybody that's been on the show. I'm bringing a whole group up on the show, and they're all going to be on the show, and it's going to be an open link, so anybody can come on. It's going to be a revolving door. Anybody can come in, anybody can go out, and it's going to be a long show. So it's going to be like
Oh,
maybe a long. It's going to be a very long show because that's going to be the 100th episode of the In Your Face show, and that's when the season one of the In Your Face show is over. But the season two episode is the next episode.
okay. When is that going to be?
Well, once I hit the 100th, once I hit the 100th episode, which it
You're
should
on
be,
69 now, right?
yeah, we're on 60, the 68th, I think. On the
Oh,
68th
64.
episode.
Okay.
We're on the 68th episode, but I'm working on to get to the sixth, seventh, the 100th episode by I say the end of January, say part, depending on that. So I'm working my hardest. I'm trying to get as many subscribers as I possibly can, so that way we can all start to build each other up. And
Mhm.
that way we all can so that way I can monetize the channel, and that way also I can start giving stuff away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I want to start giving away like movies, giving away y'all movies, and like giving away y'all, my comics, giving away t-shirts and hoodies and all that stuff, and actually having you guys sign the shirts and hoodies, and then give them
Yeah,
away.
I would love to.
Yeah, because what I want to do is I want to I'm building a show here that is going to touch the world.
Hmm.
This is not just about me. This is not about me. This is about the people and everybody who's watching. I want y'all to understand one thing. Y'all mean the world to me, and I'm here to bring God back to the world, and I'm here to bring something that the world has not had before. And so, bringing something to the world is and giving y'all something that y'all never seen before. This is a raw and uncut show, so you're going to get the bad, the good, the ugly. You're going to get it all. This is not even an edited show. This is all live. This is all behind the scenes. It's all of this,
Yeah.
and I can't wait till I get picked up by a network and they just be like, "Oh shit, this guy is so cool." I can't wait. So I'm
Yeah.
excited. I'm happy. I'm happy to do this for you guys because at least you guys stuck with me in the bad times, on the bad days when I had bad days. I just went through something traumatic, but it's okay.
What happened?
Situation, but I'll be able to tell you after the show.
Okay, personal, huh? Okay.
Personal, very personal. But along with that, Miss Donna, Miss Donna, why when in your life, right? Have you ever felt the one when you're on the set, right? Have you ever felt like have you ever felt emotional on set before?
Oh, I feel emotional every time I have to cry. I mean, I use the Stanislavski method. I'm a method actor. So I always and those are the type of scenes I like to do. I mean, some people think that I'm good at comedy, which I'm happy about. And um, thank you, Gregory Blair, for putting me in Garden Party Massacre, because that's, I think, when people first found out that I really could act. Um, but I, now that I'm doing larger roles, I almost always feel emotional.
Awesome. So,
And I use
okay,
different things for that too. I mean, I told you my dad died. I used that. My I just use real life things, so it takes me a while to get over it.
awesome,
And I hope
awesome.
it's real. Thank you. I think everyone loves Garden Party Massacre the best. So that's
you
my
know,
goal, to top it.
exactly. And see, I got another question for you. As you're talking, I'm coming up with questions because it's just coming up. um, have you ever felt, you know, like, was there ever a time in your life where you felt like you wasn't going to achieve your goals? You just felt like, was there ever a block in your life where you just, damn it, like you just felt like you just want to give up?
Well,
I know that
you
was
know,
a good question. Don't
yeah,
just take your time.
I don't want to give too much away, but um, after what I've been through in my life, anything that happens in this industry is nothing. I may be upset for a few days if someone's trying to kill me, in this industry, which just kind of happened, you know. Um,
Yeah.
so, except that I have my husband to protect me, and then I have my Kwan Jang Nim, Rick St. Clair up in San Francisco, who will fly down and kill anyone who tries to kill me. So that's a warning to all you trolls out there. So nothing in this business phases me. But I did have a situation years and years ago. Um, I told you I thought playing Cleo the Snake Dancer was my big break in show business. I had just gotten the biggest agent in Hollywood, and my career was just on the rise. And something traumatic happened in my personal life. And that's why I went back to school. And that's why I went into technology marketing. Um, and
Hey, maybe you could be my publicist one day, Shoot.
I think
Help.
I don't, I, nobody I know now. I mean, seems like another lifetime. It was another lifetime. But that period taught me how strong I am, because
Right, right.
because I had to get through a lot. I had 2 daughters. I had to go back to school. I had to fight my way in the business world, which is almost as cutthroat as this industry. And I am going to say, it's with way more educated and intelligent people than some of the people in the indie film industry. Okay, am I saying that? Not anyone who is with my agency or who is watching the show, but the souls out there. They can do what they want, but they're not smart enough to really hurt anyone. But the people in the business world, they're all geniuses and they're all educated. They have PhDs and they're all trying to stab you in the back. So I had to work my way up through that. So just getting my MBA showed me that I can do anything. And maybe that's why
Awesome.
I'm never afraid. It's like I'm obsessive, but I'm not obsessive compulsive. I'm not afraid to go out and make a fool of myself. I'm not afraid to go out and ask someone for a part. I will do that in a heartbeat because you don't get what you want if you don't ask for it. But
Right.
a lot of people who are obsessive compulsive, they have to be perfect at something before they even want anyone to see them do stuff. I guess having a psychiatrist's daughter, I guess I know a lot about this type of stuff. And that's not me. I'm never afraid to make a fool of myself. So I think that's why I give good performances, because I do make a fool of myself, especially in Garden Party Massacre, or maybe even in Down and Out in Vampire Hills.
Mm. Well, I mean, you know, being as though that you're an actress, you got to be able to get over fear. You got to be able to, work on the fly. You got to be able to turn it on and turn it off. And
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to being the woman that you are, do it ever gets to the point to where it gets in the middle of your personal life, or does it? Do you know how to balance it out?
These days, I've lived long enough where I can balance it out. I mean, I act, I do publicity for the things that I want to do publicity for. And like I said, they're the things that I have leads in, or I'm a producer on, or that I have vested interest in it. I mean, I won't just do it because I don't want anyone to pay me. But I spend the rest of my time with my family, and I think that's what gets me through life. Is I've got a very, very close family that I'm proud of. I mean, I look up to them. I could never, this is going to sound weird, but I could never be married to my husband if I didn't look up to him, if I didn't think he was smarter than me. Because he's so bossy and controlling that he has to be smarter than me for me to listen to him. you know,
Right, right, right.
um,
I get
that
it. I get what you're saying.
yeah, I know. It's like you can't be with someone who isn't better than you, because what's the point?
Right,
you
right,
know,
right.
but
Go ahead.
I don't anymore, because I've I didn't tell you what I went through, but I went through something so traumatic where I had to start life over with 2 kids. And I did
Right,
that so successfully. I'm living my best life now. I never imagined having the career that I have at my age. And IMDb has me as 10 years older than I am. So I'm old anyway, but I'm just throwing that out there. But anyway, I am living my best life. I mean, I am a cartoon character. I'm Ma Flesher in Meat Hook Massacre for Destin Ferguson, and I'm going to be in one of his films soon. It's a great action flick, but I can't talk about it.
very understandable. Very understandable. So, so when it comes to, I had some hair in my mouth, but yeah,
Okay. No, that was me.
but I like, you know, I think that you're a very strong person, you know, and I think that what you've been through, whatever you've been through, has prevailed, has basically built you into the woman that you are today, because if you had to go through that, if you didn't go through it, where do you think you'd be?
No, it's like I see these kids. Well, I don't really see them, but I hear about these kids who are beautiful and they come to Hollywood and they think they're going to, land things right away without any education and without working at it. They don't realize that everyone here has an education, has been training for years. I watched the film Elvis last night, and it was an eye opener, because Elvis was so beautiful and so talented, but he had to battle um, people in the business and just go through traumatic things that made him die too soon, And if I hadn't gone through what I went through at a very, very young age, who knows? I wouldn't be the strong person that I am.
Right, right, right. And that is a very testimonial there. It's a very testimonial situation right there, because not everybody is willing to tell their story,
Well, I'm
because
not
now
willing to tell all of it. Because
very understandable.
you know what?
Things are not
I
good.
was friends with someone who told me once that I should write a story about my life, except that 90% of it would be unbelievable. So, and I can't write, I mean, I can write technical things, like I did in technology, but I can't write fiction. I
Very
need someone
understandable.
to write my story and then have me star in it and have my
Hey,
daughter be me, yeah, at a younger age. And my
hey.
granddaughter be me as a baby.
Hey, that'd be where you work it. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as people, are able to tell their stories and not feel embarrassed, because you never know when you tell your story, you're helping another person out, because the stuff that you went through, it's not for you anyway. It's for somebody else to latch onto that and change their lives and help another person. You know what I'm saying? It's like a chain. You go through something, you're helping another person, and another person is helping another person, and another person helping another person. That's the way
Yeah,
God had made it.
yeah. And my daughter, I'll just say this really generally and really quick. My daughter is a psychiatrist at UCLA, which is one of the top psychiatric hospitals in the nation. But there are a lot of, I don't know what you call them, there are a lot of kids there who with silver spoons. It's Beverly Hills, all the stars live there. Those kids have everything handed to them. And they don't have to fight for anything. So they have, I can't generalize, but a lot of them don't have the toughness it takes to survive, because you have to be tough to survive this world.
Right? You have to. You have to, because not everybody is gonna care about you in the world.
No, and in this business, there are people who are going to just try to destroy you. But I'm never going to let them. So,
And that's the awesomest thing to do. That
mhm.
you are still standing after what you've been through. You know, and with that being said, you know, there's a part in the show that I know I start dancing, but there's part of the show.
Okay.
I give you 60 seconds. 60 seconds to promote yourself and to promote whatever you just were promoting. The recent movies that you got
Okay.
again, and 60 seconds to also give advice to the people that's coming in that's wanting to do what you're doing.
Okay. I'm looking for my resume here. Okay. Okay. Well, first of all, I have two websites. The first
Uh huh.
one is donnaleeheising.me. Then I have a great new one from Scott Schaefer, and it's donnaleeheisingofficial.com. And it has all of my new pictures from Tom Barrett and my great friend Mark Offler and Dan Kennedy. And I'm so grateful to have those guys in my life because I never have to worry about headshots anymore because they make me look the way that I dream of looking, you know. So those are my two websites. I, I'm really proud of my family. I covered my family. And then I mentioned I'm playing the goddess Athena in Diana Carter's Deuce, and we're going to be filming that in Thailand next year. I'm playing, I forgot my name, but it's an angel with Eric Roberts in Dick Reno Monster Slayer. Um, I'm playing Lindsay in Dustin Ferguson's Mothman versus Bigfoot, starring Vern Wells and Christopher Showerman. I mentioned the Rose Wagon. I mentioned the Magnificent Warriors of Dimension War 1. Um, I'm playing Professor Alexa in Diana's Vampire. I'm playing a queen in another action film, which is the lead in a Dustin movie, but I don't think I can say the title. I'm playing the vampire queen Penelope in my own film, Down and Out in Vampire Hills, which is winning tons of awards. I played Butch Patrick's wife in Dustin's Quakesaurus. I'm playing Joseph Kelly's wife. I'm playing Ron Russell's wife in Clowney, in Joseph Kelly's Clowney. Okay, I got that right. I'm going to be playing Alice in Tom Anderson's multi-million-dollar film, The Broken Road, with Kathy Garver. And I'm really excited about that because Tom is with my agent, Diana, and he's an incredible screenwriter. And then I'm also playing Miss Fairchild in Diana Carter's Recipes for Love with Daniel Baldwin and Nicholas Turturro. I'm playing Lisa in Diana Carter's PTSD, A Soldier's Revenge, with Daniel Baldwin, Tom Sizemore, and Robert Lasardo. And that's enough. I have other roles in other films coming up.
Awesome. Awesome. So, do you have anything else to say to the people?
Thank you so much to my friends and to your friends for watching. I really didn't expect anyone to tune in since I just posted this like right before we went on the air. But I'm very, very grateful to have great friends that I can count on. And you know who you are. There's so many wonderful people in this industry that it makes up for the other ones. And I believe in always staying positive and being happy for the successes of others because it just brings more positivity into the air around us. Well, I'm your fan too, Robert, and I really do want to work with you in an action flick. I'm not as good as you. Thank you, Floyd. I'm not. I've taken Tang Sudo for 5 years, but I'll never be as good as Robert. Okay, but anyway, I believe in staying positive and believing I told you I'm Catholic. I was raised Catholic. My husband's Catholic. He was in
Hmm.
the Knights of Columbus. And so we believe in being good to people. My mom's Japanese. And so we were raised to be nice and not to go around and try to destroy people or to put other people down. I could never imagine doing that, you know?
Right.
And I just don't want to be around people who do things like that. So I won't be around them. It's so easy to just block people from your life if you have a busy schedule. My family keeps me balanced. I'm very, very close to my mother, um, who was sick recently. So, yes, and always put God first because God, I have just seen recently, I had two really traumatic things happen to me in a row, um, with two low budget indie films that I didn't even want to be in anyway. But it was really traumatic. And, it took me like a day to get over everything that happened. But then I put my faith in God and I got like four great films right after that, films that I did want to be in. So God never gives you more than you can bear. Um, the and be put God first, put God and your family first. I have to say that because my mom is the person I love most in the world, and I pray every day that she's going to stay healthy, and see me progress because she watches all my films. She's the only person who does. I don't let anyone else watch my films, unless they're my fans and they want to watch them. But my mom goes out of her way to watch everything, and I want God to look after my mom. And
Well, God always tells me, no matter what happens, everything will be worked out in due time. And of course,
health is probably God and family are first, but good health is the thing that you should strive for in life because we only have one life to live and it's short. So we need to do everything we can in that life and do everything we can to be good to the people around us and to reach the goals that we set for ourselves.
everything going to be just fine.
Yeah.
God is going to bless your family and God is going to bless your mother. I promise.
Thank you.
Well, God bless you, baby.
Thank you. I've had such a great time. Thank you for asking me on your show. And I can't wait till the 100th show.
Oh, yes, because we're going to have a good time because I got a surprise for the guys, for everybody.
And if you
Oh,
ever need a guest, I know tons of people. I can ask my friends, and they would love to be on your show. And they're all veterans. Not all,
awesome.
but a lot of them are veterans.
Well, hey, I mean, hold on. You got somebody. How can anyone get a
I'm
hold of
on.
you?
You can private message me on Facebook. Um, I'm under Donna Lee Heising.
There you go. And also, I want to thank you for coming on the show because, I wanted to have you on the show and I was just told by God, just have her on the show and just have some fun, because she has a story to tell and she has a testimony to speak. So this is
Well,
a show. This is the, go ahead.
thank you. I've had a great time, and I love your show. And I had no idea you were in comic books. I mean, you didn't even introduce yourself.
Everybody know me.
We'd
Everybody
like
know
to
me. Y'all know
know.
me.
I'm
Y'all
so
know
glad
me.
to come on your show.
Everybody know me. I ain't sweating that. I ain't sweating that. You know what I'm saying? Because in due time, people will know me because of the God in me.
Mhm,
Because the God in me will exalt me because I exalt Him in due
mhm,
time. 'Cause in due time, He'll exalt me, and I exalt Him every day. So I exalt Him on the show because the show is about Him, not about me. It's about Him reaching out to His people and showing love, and that is all that matters to me. To give the love back to the people and to show God through me to you guys. That means the world to me, and that's what I love to do, and that's what I'm here to do. And I'm working on getting some sponsors. Let me know if y'all got some sponsors out there so I can get sponsored so I can start making a couple of dollars. And I'm joking with y'all, I'm joking with y'all. But
Well,
nah.
I don't like I had so much trouble getting on your show that I don't know much about technology and podcasts, but I have a friend. I think he's on StreamYard too. He would be a perfect guest for you, and I will private message you his name. I think he has sponsors for his show, so he could tell you more than me because I don't know anything about it. I don't even do my own show anymore. I do it to promote the films I'm in. I've done it for 17 years, but I mean, I was on Amazon Prime and I got kicked off. They won't take my show down, but they kicked off all the episodes. I mean, how stupid is that?
Hey, don't worry. Gotta make a way. And gotta make a way for me to get my sponsors. Gotta make a way for me to get on the network. Gotta make a way for everything. And
Mhm.
God is my centerpiece to all my civilization. So, thank y'all for watching. It's been a blast. It's been awesome. This has been the 68th episode of the In Your Face show.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Okay,
Woo! Thank
bye.
you. Peace. We out here. Peace.